Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can combine your dungeon game with SDL that we just went over last week. Okay, first I'm going to go to our SDL dungeon or SDL file. Okay. Okay, this is what we have. Okay. Okay, so if you remember, we had this main.cpp file. Okay. And when you build it, you would have something like this. Okay? And one thing I realized, I actually forgot to add one thing. So we used TTF init. So whenever you initialize something, you have to close it or you have to quit it. So here, I'm going to do TTF quit. Okay. And one thing I didn't talk about last week is, okay, this one right over here. Okay, look at here, SDL create renderer, and then as you can see, okay, this example that I have, I'm trying to use multiple number of flags. Okay, so SDL renderer present vsync, okay, and SDL renderer accelerated. Okay, so if you want to use more than one flag, and you can use it with this logical OR. Okay, so this is one way to use multiple numbers of flag. Okay. All right, so this is what I have. Okay, I would have something like this. Okay, so now let's try to think about what's the best practice to combine this dungeon game. Okay, I have this dungeon game. Okay, and what would be the best way to combine these two? So here, one thing I can do. Okay, this is dungeon game. Okay, oops. Okay, this is dungeon game. Okay, so let's try to think about the way to combine these two. Okay, so there are many different ways to do this. Okay, so one. Okay, this is dungeon game, and we basically want to implement that SDL. So maybe I can just copy these things into here and combine them. Or this is SDL, so we can copy whatever we created for this dungeon game and paste them into here. Okay, so try to think about it. Okay, what would be easier way to do it or better way to do it? Okay, if you want to implement SDL or transplant this SDL file into here, okay, you have to copy SDL2, SDL2 TTF folders, and all these DLL files, and then you have to go to properties and change it that like you have to include directories. Okay, so maybe it's not the best way to do it. Okay, because if you simply copy this common parser CPP, common parser.h, and gamecore.h and gamecore.cpp, and if you just copy them and paste it here, and then like use the main here, then maybe it will save a lot of time because we already went through this project properties. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to copy common parsers. Okay, and paste them here. Gamecore, copy and paste. And I can copy this main and paste it here, but I now realize I already have main here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, this is an existing main. Okay, and we do have this. Okay, And now what I'm going to do, well, obviously I have to add existing items as common parser CPP. Okay. Or you can actually, sometimes maybe you can do this. You can game core, you can simply drag it into this filter. Okay. And that's something you can do. Okay. Okay. So now the issue is this main. Okay. I have to put this main from my dungeon game, but I already have main here. Okay. So in that case, what I can do, I can open it. Okay. This is game main, and this is main CPP. So here, what I'm going to do, I'll first comment this out. Okay. I'm not going to get rid of it just yet because I'm going to use it later. So I'm going to keep them right over there. And here I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Okay. And now I don't need this main.cpp from dungeon game anymore. Okay. So I'll save all, okay, and play. Okay, there's a little issue. Okay, seems like it's not actually executing my game. Okay, but it basically goes to this debug file. So it doesn't build my game just yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, I'll actually get rid of this debug, okay, and then go here and try to build it again. Okay, so now since I got rid of my debug folder, it realizes Visual Studio try to find it and then it cannot find it. Oh, okay, this project is out of date. Do you want to build it again? Yes. And now it builds main, game, and game core and command parser and do this. Okay, so I basically now kind of recreated my debug, and this is my game. Okay, now let's try to think about what we're going to do with this, guys. Okay, so here, okay, maybe I'll do just a little clean up a little bit. Okay, I'll just get rid of this. I mean, these are things I already comment out, so I'll just get rid of them. Okay, so now let's take a look at this part. Okay, and if you look at this SDL program, okay, we can possibly divide this into 3 different parts. So here we basically initialize. Okay, initialize this. Okay, and this part we kind of close it. Okay, and then here this is where we draw stuff. Okay, so if you look at gamecore.cpp or main.cpp, okay, so probably now we realize, oh, there's initialize game, okay, and then there's this part and this cleanup game. So mainly we can think about, okay, where we need to put these guys. Okay, and here maybe I can just say something like this. Okay, initialize SDL. Okay, And here, this part, okay, render or draw maps or draw something. Okay, and here, this part will be clean up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, okay, I already said it. This part is initialize SDL. So I'm going to, okay, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. And then go to game core. And under game core, I have this initialize game function. So I'm going to paste it here. Okay. So now I have this the red underline. Okay, meaning this guy, this .cpp file cannot understand what these functions are. Well, that's because we didn't include, okay, include SDL just yet. Okay, and we're going to use the typeface, so include SDL tff.h as well. And now if I go down, okay, it will get updated. Okay, now this is good. Okay, okay, now I realize that ttf init cannot be understood, meaning, oh, okay, include SDL ttf, oh, ttf should it be good? Okay, if you're not sure, you can always kind of go here, copy this, and paste. Okay, now it's good. Got updated, so we're good. Okay, so and by looking at here, okay, well, there are a lot of functions, right? So maybe you can organize this a little better. Okay, if you want to organize the set of your function, you can actually just add this curly braces. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use indent and put curly braces. So by doing this, okay, we basically now saying, okay, these guys are like the one particular set of function, and eventually you can convert this to a different function if you want. Okay. The same thing here. I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, and oops, and this is initializing for the word state. So I'm going to do this. Okay, so now we do have the two set of functions, one for SDL, okay, this one for SDL, and the other for word state. Okay, and now let's look at cleanup stuff. So I'm going to, we don't need return, but we need this. And I'm going to go down and look at the cleanup. Okay, here, and paste it. Okay, and now, okay, as you can see, now we got this red underline for p texture, p render, and p window. Why? Okay, because, okay, if you look at this main.cpp, okay, we declared this variable, okay, like this p window, p renderer, inside of the same curly braces. So there's only one curly brace, one pair of curly braces. Okay, I mean, like, in terms of big picture. Okay, so if they are located inside of the same set of curly braces, okay, well, once you declare something here, okay, so you can understand what this guy is. But here, we actually put, okay, this guy right inside of this function initialize game. Okay, so inside of initialize game, okay, this guy understands what p window is, but from outside here, this guy cannot understand what p window is. Okay, so basically we have to have some system, okay, or we have to declare this variable like p window, p render, and this kind of stuff. Okay, where did it go? Oops. So we have to have, okay, oh, why I cannot find this? Okay, clean up. Okay, so here we have to kind of have a system to declare this p texture, p render, p window at the right place, so that this, okay, the Visual Studio understands what p texture is. Okay, so one way to do it is you can declare this one inside of this file globally. So here we haven't paid attention to this space yet, but let's take a look at this. If you click here, line number 14, it will show you this text game. Okay, here, global scope. In the same way, if we go to that initialize SDL, okay, you are in the text game. Okay, so here, one way to create this global variable is, okay, I can put it something like this for now. Okay, so we need to have some global variable for these guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to declare this p texture, p render, and p window globally, meaning I'm going to declare that in this variable in global scope. Okay, so to do that, maybe I can take a look at it here. Okay, I'll just copy this because we have p window, p renderer. Okay, and do we have any other stuff? Okay, so I'll simply do this, paste it. Okay, so we're still going to use SDL window. Okay, and we are going to use name p window. Okay, I mean not p window this time actually. So here we do have this p texture, p renderer, and p window. Okay, so here what I'm going to do for p window, okay, I'm going to use SDL underscore window and pointer. But here I will change its name to g underscore window. Okay, and then this one, now we're just declaring this, so I'm going to put it as null pointer. Okay, and then for p renderer, same thing, g underscore renderer. So this one is one way to like naming your variable. Okay, so we're trying to add g, meaning this is global variable using pointer and name is window or something like that. Okay, BMP we don't need it. We need p texture, so I'm going to change this to g p texture, and this one I'll say ner ptr. Okay, so now we changes these names, so I'll go down here. Okay, I'll change this name as well. Okay, so we already declared this, so I don't need to use SDL underscore window star. Just put g window. Okay, same thing, g p renderer, this one g underscore p window. BMP is fine, but here this one we declared as G underscore P texture, and then this one will be G underscore P renderer. Okay, and now let's see here. Okay, G underscore P renderer. Okay, and then down here, okay, we have to say GP texture, GP window. Okay, so now we don't have any errors. Let's test it. Probably nothing's going to happen. We'll try to initialize SDL. Okay, but that's pretty much it. So we have this hello world, but here basically it doesn't do much, right? So here now we have to think about where we draw this thing. Okay, so we actually draw this right over here. So we used this SDL delay just to demonstrate or display that information for a long time, so we really don't need it, but we need this. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, okay, oh actually I realized, okay, let me actually check one more thing. I think I forgot something. Okay, so we actually used this TTF open font. Okay, so down here under clean, we have to close it. That's something I forgot to add. So here I'll go down to clean up again. Okay, so here there's a set of functions, so I'm going to actually put this curly braces, and here I need to actually close TTF close font, and it was P font. But again, probably I'm going to declare that as a global, so I'm going to say global P font, and here I have this one right over here. Okay, so I'm going to say this one is global P font, and okay, and ner PTR. Okay, so we are done with that. Okay, so here now we have to think about this drawing stuff. So I'm going to copy this, and now question is where we are going to draw. Okay, so if you think about your game, okay, we draw this map whenever we render this game again. Okay, so we have to basically think about, okay, we go to okay, why we have this red? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to render game. Okay, clean up, whoops, GP font. Oh, I think I use it this. Okay, same thing here. GP font. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Oh, here I didn't update this one. GP font. Okay, so now I'm going to go to render game. Okay, so we have to find where we are going to draw that. So here, there's render game right over here. Okay, so in render, under render game, okay, probably I'm going to put this one at the end. Okay, so here I'm going to say we're going to draw something. Okay, so here again we have to change this. G. Okay, so this, and okay, and P texture is still need to be here, but there actually is no P texture. Okay, so here this one can be fixed many different way, or for now I'll just comment this out to see what is going to happen. Okay, so now I'll play this or build this. So now we do have this guy right over here. We don't have the test yet because, okay, I comment this out. Okay, so here now I realize, okay, we actually use this P texture in this, okay, in this like function, okay, because it gets updated. So basically what I'm going to do now, instead of initializing this P texture up inside of initialize texture, okay, so I'm going to cut this. Okay, I'm going to cut this and paste it right over here. Okay, so in this way, okay, we have this test, and we can actually use different, okay, different information to update it. Okay, so now this P texture surface and P texture text to texture is inside of this render game function. Now I don't have this underline anymore. So now when I build it, I'll see that test right over there. Okay, so now I have test. So now let me kind of change this a little bit. Okay, whenever I look at the background, okay, this is my background. Okay, so I'll actually like source rect and destination rect. I actually really don't need it. Okay, so I'm going to use no PTR. So by doing this, my texture, like my background texture, basically will be like placed to fill my window. Okay. So now let's try to do this. Okay, now I have this red because I got rid of this destination rect. Okay, for now, just let's do this. Okay. So now I have this test right over here. Okay. So now our goal is, okay, instead of this like test, we need to draw our map. Okay. So what we're going to do, okay, we are going to create this string. Okay. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to go to the top of my render game. Okay, I'm going to create something like standard string, okay, maybe render to SDL text. Okay, for now let's give something. Okay, something. Okay, and then I'm going to, instead of the test, okay, I'm going to put this one. Okay, and then render to SDL text, and I'm going to say this one is CSTR because it's going to be string. Okay, so now let me build this. So I have like something. Okay, so the idea is, okay, what we're going to do, okay, but again, like instead of this something, okay, we want to display this, okay, display this in display that map. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll try to think about to dump our map information into render to SDL text. Okay, so that's basically my goal to goal to achieve. Okay, so here what we can do, okay, we can possibly, okay, look at this, render to SDL text. Okay, so main idea is, okay, we are going to, okay, go find where we are going to okay, display our map information. Okay, so here we actually use it this like string to render. Okay, so here instead of printing that out, what we can do is, okay, render to SDL text, okay, equal string to render. Okay, so basically whatever we get here, we're going to give it to our render to SDL text to print on or display on SDL. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen now. So now it's kind of hard to see, but here you can possibly see, oh, something's happening. Now it displays more information. Okay, so now let's go down there and let's try to see what we can do to display that text map correctly. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do, I'll take a look at this, like how we can display this this render text. Okay, so where we put this render text as p texture surface. Okay, and we are going to display that using this p texture surface. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create some little, as we did here. Okay, I'm going to create some like another SDL, okay, rect, and this one I'll name it as text destination rectangle. Okay, equal, let's say 32, 16, and to create this, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually use pointer. So I'm going to get, try to get the width of my like string. So here we put this render to SDL text, okay, as p texture surface, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, okay, look at p texture, okay, surface. So ideally, I want to get the height and width of and height of this p texture surface. Okay. we're going to convert this render to SDL text into the string, so we can possibly measure that. Okay, but here, so here in any other object-oriented programming language, you probably want to do something like ptexture surface dot width, okay, and ptexture surface dot height. But here, okay, C++ is a slightly different, and this one actually was pointer. Okay, so instead of just adding .w, we actually have to use slightly different syntax for this. Okay, we use dash, okay, greater than sign. So it actually literally meaning, oh, we're going to point the width of this guy, then we're going to point height of that guy. And now, okay, instead of this destination rect, I'm going to use text destination rect. Okay, so in this way, we are going to display our text at 3216, and then we're going to use width and height of the text. Okay, so let's do this. Let's see what I'm going to get. So here, as you can see now, it displays the map kind of like a right way, but it actually displays it as one line. Okay. So now we have to think about, okay, we need to cap this width so that we can display the second line, third line, fourth line, and fifth line. Okay. So let's try to think about what we can do to do that. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we'll try to look at whether we can whenever we render this text, okay, whether we can take certain amount of like width and then render the rest of the information to the next line. Okay, so to do that, okay, one thing we can do is, okay, instead of using TTF render text solid, okay, so we can use different function, okay, to recognize that width, okay, and send the rest of information to the next line. Instead of using this TTF render text solid, okay, we can use a different function. Okay, so here we can use TTF render text blended wrapped. Okay, so we're basically using different function. Okay, so here what we can do, okay, TTF render text underscore blended underscore wrapped. Okay, and then this takes a similar information, so G underscore P font render to SDL text C string and text color, and there need to be one more parameter, okay, which is a width, okay, the cap width. So I'm going to say like 640 because that is the width of our screen. So now I changed it, and let's see what we are going to have. So now, as you can see, I do have better map, and then we no more print that map here, but we have map right over here. So now I can do north, 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 north. Oh, something, something. Why is happening? So here, basically, I gave some initial value for my render to SDL text. Okay, as something, something. So basically, if you get rid of this, okay, and you will have something like this. And north. Ooh, it actually crashed it. Okay, so it said the p texture surface was null pointer. Okay, so this one, I'll just break it. Okay, I need something. Okay, so here std string render to SDL text. Okay, you can put like for now, like I'll just put like blocked. Okay, now so here now it's kind of funny stuff when you do this. Okay, blocked. Okay, so here if you want to create be a little more creative, you can create some different images or different stuff. Okay, and another thing you can do, or I mean, if you just put it something like this with the one of this, you will have, okay, oops, north. Okay, it basically doesn't display anything. Okay, or whenever you do this, you can possibly have some sort of different information as we did. Okay, where did it go? String to render. Okay, so here let's try to do this. String to render here. Okay, so we're going to say, oh, whenever we do this at the beginning, okay, we actually make it a string to render. Okay, so this one is declared. Where was it? Was this declared? It was declared right over here. Okay, so here, okay, so actually, let's just put it like this way. Okay, and for now, let's put like blocked. Okay, and so here the issue here is, okay, for now, I mean, well, later we're going to kind of like probably you can display different images or different messages for that. Okay, and another thing we need to do, okay, so whenever we have this window opened, okay, so basically window has a lot of communications with the system. Okay, so it will try to check whether it's good or not. Yeah. Oops. Oh, blocked. Okay, I have to go out. Okay, so here, okay, it's not that critical because our program is like a relatively simple. Okay, but this is something good to do if you use this SDL. Okay, while it's opened. Okay, let's try to think about something like, okay, we need to kind of like communicate with system so basically whenever we open this window, what's happening here is system try to communicate with this window and then check whether this program is good or not. So time to time you experience that, sometimes you get this like a little warning sign, oh, this program is not responding. okay, then would you like to quit? Okay, the reason why it's possible is because your system constantly communicate with the program. Okay, so here basically whenever we open this program, we can have this while loop, while, okay, and SDL underscore poll event, okay, and I'm going to say reference to poll event, okay. And now poll event, this one is not recognizable, so we're going to say SDL underscore event poll event. So basically what it means, okay, there are various poll event, okay, in this SDL, okay. So if you put this one, basically it will constantly communicate with your system so that you basically tell your system that, oh, this program is fine and we're trying to handle certain event. Okay, so especially this kind of game, wait for your input. Okay, so sometimes what's going to happen is, okay, if you don't have any input, okay, probably system kind of tend to think, oh, what's happening here? There's nothing and there's no event, and there's nothing, no activity, so maybe it's crashed. But we basically telling the system, oh, this is trying to handle that particular event, so we are fine. Okay, that's basically what is happening here. Okay, so now, whoa. Okay, we have this, and oops, north, and here, one thing we can, more things we can add. Okay, so this is something you have to figure out. Okay, so here when you render your information, you render this information on the same window, okay, using this part right over here, right? So you can actually use the same technique, okay, same thing, but instead of this render, okay, render to SDL text, you can actually display inventory or some different types of information about the game status, or you can actually change this background image. Okay, so here when you render this game, okay, depending on where you are, you can change this background image as well. Okay, so here, so there's many things you can do. So this one right over here, G underscore P texture is this one right over here, BMP. So when you load it, okay, you can load this background image and you can load some other images, and then you can swap, okay, depending on the your room index or something. Okay, so I really want you to try to figure that out. Okay, but anyways, this is kind of short version of how to implement SDL window display into your dungeon game, and hopefully you will have fun coding. And if you have any questions, let me know.